Now, Akbar's conquest. Now, my students, today I will start Akbar's conquest. In my last class also, I was continuing with Akbar. Akbar was the real founder of the Mughal Empire. Now, Akbar followed a policy of conquest because he wanted to expand his empire. Some of his important conquests were those of Malwa, then Katanga, the major part of Rajasthan, then Gujarat, Bengal and Bihar. After the conquest of Gujarat, Akbar extended his authority over Deccan. The Mughal annexed Berar that gave them a permanent footing in Deccan. Ahmednagar in 1597. Mughals gained victory over Ahmednagar. Khandesh was included in the Mughal Empire in 1601. In the Deccan, Akbar's dominions included Ahmednagar, Bijapur and Golconda. Akbar's authority had also become firmly established in Assam, in the east. In the northwest frontiers of the empire extended up to Kabul and Kandahar. Akbar's Mansabdari system, revenue and reforms and policy of religious pacification. The lowest rank was that of 10, whereas the 100 highest was 5,000 for the nobles. The princes received higher mansabs, the rank of 7,000 each. The mansabdars held their appointments directly from the emperor. They got their remuneration in cash, not in land grants. In addition to meeting their personal expenses, the mansabdar had to maintain out of his salary a required quota of horses, elephants, mules and cars. The Mughal Mansabdars acted both as military commanders and civil administrators. Mansabdari status was not hereditary. Then land revenue system. The land revenue reforms were introduced in 1580 when Todormal became the Diwani Ashraf, head of the land revenue department. Todormal devised a system based on a survey and measurement of land, classification of land according to its productive capacity, and fixation of rates payable in cash or kind by the cultivators. Another important change that Akbar made was the introduction of the Dasala system. Under this system, the average produce of different kinds of lands as well as the prices of the last 10 years were collected from the government records. The land revenue was fixed at 1/3 of the average produce. The benefit of the necessity of settling the land revenue every year. The state advanced loans to the needy farmers. As a result, agriculture flourished. As a result of that, trade and industry flourished. That is, during that rule of Akbar, the Mughal Empire, it faced a lot of, richness. Law and justice. Akbar regarded speedy administration of justice as one of the important duties. The chief Qazis was the foremost judicial officer in the realm. He nominated Qazis for the provinces. The bigger towns had their own Qazis. The villages settled their disputes through the institution of panchayats. Emperor's court was the final court of justice. The justice, then racial and religious pacification. Akbar sought to bring about racial and religious pacification in the country. The jizya tax was abolished. State services were open for the Hindus. The emperor patronized Hindu writers and artists. He had matrimonial alliances with the Rajput families. In 1580, the emperor promulgated a new cult called Din-e-Ilahi, a new religion. And the main idea of the religion was it was open to all people of all religion, and required its members to accept virtues such as courage, chastity and justice. It also demanded loyalty to the emperor. The people who are, accepted this religion, they must show respect to the emperor. The new cult could not have many followers and it was never imposed on the people. It was not imposed, forced. It never forced the people to accept the religion. Akbar ranks with the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka as one of the greatest rulers of India. Now, so we can compare Akbar with Ashoka. Okay. Next day Jahangir. Okay, my students. See you all the best. Okay.